Hey everybody, Mopar Mike here. Thanks for stopping by. Please like and subscribe. If you would, just hit that subscribe button down there. That'll help notify you when I post a new video, which in this case won't be notifying you very often because I haven't posted a new video in a very long time. In fact, I have like hours upon hours of videos that I need to edit still and get posted online. So with that, if somebody is new to this world of YouTube and would like to help be part of my channel as far as like editing and videography and stuff like that, let me know because I'd be interested in talking with you about that because I do all my editing and everything myself as well as, well, everything else. So, well, why am I here today? Well, I'm here today to talk about a couple of things because I've seen some things on social media today that I thought would be great to discuss. Topics that I want to see and we'll get some feedback on. So, I seen a social media post today. Actually, two of them. First post was this post. It was an individual asking if anybody would be willing in the area that this post covers to tell them how to fix their vehicle if they told them what the symptoms were. Now, some of you might get mad, some of you might not. I don't know what some of your feelings are on that stuff. I do agree that a mechanic's knowledge is very valuable, and we work long and hard to obtain this knowledge. So that is factual. Okay. I also feel that we should help each other to a certain degree. Offering some advice and stuff is technically what this YouTube world is. There's always been jokes about you know, there's even been T-shirts that says I graduated from the YouTube University or the University of YouTube. Potato, potato. So if that's the case, does that make me a professor? Which I guess so. I mean, I got the beard and the lack of hair, and I've definitely been doing it a long time. So I guess I'm Professor Mopar Mike today, and we're in school. School is in session. Just trying to get my tools put away. I'm done with what I was doing. Anyways, so there were some people that said some negative things, said some mean things and stuff to this person, and I almost commented, and pretty much the only comment that I left on it was just, if you end up having to take it to a shop, make sure you vet them shops pretty good. Typically, good shops are busy, and good shops that are not good are, well, they're not busy. They can get you right in, right away. Now, there's some exceptions to that. There's some box stores out there. I'm not going to name them on here. I did on the social media platform that I was using, but on here I'm not. But there are some box stores that, if you answer the phone, if you're the person answering the phone at one of these stores, you have to always say, regardless of what is going on in your facility, you have to always say, yes, we'll get you right in right now. You have to lie to the customer because if you don't, they monitor the phone calls. And if you don't, you'll get fired for not saying that we can get you right in. At 1 minute to closing, if that phone rings, you have to answer it. If you don't say, yeah, we can get you in right now, come on down, you get fired. So that's not a red flag per se, or is it a red flag? Because they're basically lying to you. They're telling you, yes, come on in. And when you get there, half the mechanics have gone home and half the lights are off. And unless you're in there for like a simple flat repair or you need your oil topped off, you're probably not getting it done that night. So it's actually a lie. And I know that one of these places that I used to actually work at, they would do what's called the bait and switch. It used to make me mad all the time. But you can only fight the system for so long, right? So, okay, enough about them. Back to what I was saying. So that's what I told them. So I think giving advice to a person is beneficial, but you got to be careful on the advice that you give because you don't know the experience level of the person you're talking to. That's what makes all this stuff very, very difficult. That's where the disclaimer thing needs to come into place because we're willing to give you information. Now, we're willing to give you the same information that you can obtain by going to the library. You can get this information at the library. You can get this information off of Google. Heck, you can get it off of all these AI places now. So asking these questions is actually kind of trivial. But working on your own car is a great thing. It's a big freedom for a lot of people. It is, well, it's a sense of accomplishment. It's a great thing for a lot of people to be able to do that. So I do encourage it, and I want to share my knowledge with you. But I want to make sure that you do it right. I'm going to tell you step by step how to do stuff when I do actually post that kind of stuff. That's where the editing comes in because there's shots and angles and I don't have a film crew like the people on that the Power Block or Roadkill and them guys used to have, or that other, there's just, you know what I mean. There's a bunch of other places out there. So I think this leads into another problem. Okay, because I feel we have the right to repair. There's a second social media post that I seen today. This was a very interesting. That social media post. This individual was complaining about a repair shop that they went to. The reason they went to this repair shop is because over this past weekend, they tried to work on their own vehicle. And I mean tried loosely. They apparently had an issue, and they had to take it to a professional to correct the issue. And from what I read, the issue was they did their own brake job, and they twisted up the brake hose, and so they had a bunch of lights come on. Well, that's a problem, I mean, in any realm, that's a problem. So took it in, was quoted a certain price. By the time they're said and done, that price was significantly higher. To me, that seems like a problem because it was significantly higher. Significant in the chance that they were upset about it. So that tells you that that's definitely a problem that it was that high. They were quoted like $400, and then a bunch of stuff with shop supplies and this and that ran the bill up much higher, which seemed kind of problematic to me when I was reading it. So I'm sure there's more to the story, but the person was complaining about the price that they paid. Now, at least this person, they did their own brake job. They tried. They botched it up. They at least took it someplace and had it corrected. Unlike some people that are out there that can't afford to even do that. So they botch it up and they still continue to try to drive the vehicle. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen some of these vehicles driving down the road that the tire is doing the dribble as it's going down the road, or the wheel has fallen off for whatever reason or another, mostly because lug nuts weren't tight. So, should people work on their own cars at home? Well, yes, they should. That's what the right to repair thing is. They should very well work on their own cars. Should they be educated more to work on their own cars? I feel yes. I think you should work within your level of comfort. You need to buy tools. You got to have tools. You're not doing a brake job with a pair of pliers and a hammer. I mean, I guess you could, but the results are not going to be what you think they are. So that's something that you got to think about. That's something that you got to, you know, really, really think about before you have it all done. The problem lies is vehicles are expensive, vehicles are heavy. Vehicles today are very complicated. Back in the day, my gosh, when I first started, I could use all the tools sitting here to fix a car without a problem. And that was most of the cars, most of the days. I didn't even have to, um, put my tools away for the most part because I use the same tools all day. But things have changed. Times have changed. Vehicles have changed. We now need scanners and lots of electronics to work on most vehicles, even to do a brake job now. I mean, I don't know how knowledgeable a lot of you people are in new cars, but you can't even really do a brake job nowadays without having to have a scanner because you have to put the vehicle in service mode so you can service the vehicle. So, and granted, everybody sells scanners. You can get them in a multitude of places nowadays. Scanners are easy to get. But this person's biggest complaint was the labor rate. They didn't complain the fact that they made a mistake and they had to have it corrected. They owned up to that, which I give them props for that because some people won't do that. They knew they were in over their head. They took it to professional. Well, they took it to a shop that can get them right in. Got them right in. No problem. We'll take you in, from what I understand. Again, I'm only getting one side of the story. This particular place, I've heard multiple complaints from family members as well as others out there. So I'm more inclined to believe this person what he said. Now, he was saying that the labor rate for this facility was $235 an hour. And I was like, damn, that's pretty high. That's a pretty high labor rate, if you ask me. But again, I'm not the expert when it comes to labor rates. Actually, I don't know what the labor rate is today. I'm gonna have to call around tomorrow and find out. So if you want to, in the comment section, put down where you're from and put the labor rate of the local repair shops, not dealerships, not diesel trucks, not places like that, but like your mom and pop local service center repair shop type of place. What is their labor rate in the town that you're in? That'll help the rest of us know this and get a little more familiar with this because it is a little bit different in different geographical areas. So I'm curious to see what your guys' responses are to that. It'd be kind of interesting. Now, this person was mad because of that reason. They felt they were overcharged for what they did. Now, I mean, it does seem like a lot. So according to this person, they had no parts involved and they were quoted one price, but they ended up having to pay a different price when they came to pick their vehicle up because they were charged shop supplies and charged for brake fluid and this and that. Now, last year, a brake fluid flush was $99.95 plus tax. That was the service. It was all-inclusive service. That's what it cost, and I think that's still what that place charges today to do that. So I'm not sure why you needed to A, bleed the brakes, and B, why you needed to open the brake system if you twisted the caliper hose, but no parts needed to be replaced. Now, if parts needed to be replaced, they had to put a new hose on it because he messed the hose up because he kinked it, and then they would have to bleed the system, which that makes a lot of sense. So like I said, I think a piece of the information is missing. If not, $500 to have your brake caliper mounted correctly after you untangle the hose and bleeding the brakes, and then $40 for brake fluid, or was it $30 for brake fluid and $40 for rags and shop supplies? Either way, it seemed very, very tricky. So now, back to you guys and what this channel is about now. I plan to get more in depth with stuff that I'm working on. It's going to be stuff that I have a lot more time to show you. There's some things that I work on that I don't have time for that. And then there's some things that just take more time to film while I'm working on them than, because filming is going to take up a lot of time. That's the one thing a lot of people don't realize. If I want to do something, I got to do it either in real time like this. This is real time. There's going to be no edits to this video. If you can't tell after you watch it. But then there's a bunch of videos that I did cuts and I have to do edits and I have to splice everything together and make it look seamlessly. And I talk in the video and I had to do multiple takes and stuff like that. So what I think I'm going to end up doing in some of the newer videos when I film them is I'm going to film me doing the task, and then later I'll add the audio. I did that with a video of Storm that I posted on Instagram not long ago. I kind of did a voiceover on it. It was my first time trying it, so I don't think it came out too bad, but I'm still learning. But that goes back to, if someone out there wants to assist with me growing this channel, reach out to me. I need a person that's more experienced in the video side, the video social media side of all this. Maybe somebody went to college. And I can definitely teach you stuff about cars. I don't have a problem with that at all. I can even help you with a project that you might have. If you have a project, heck, we can probably even work on it and help show you how to work on it. Even maybe put you in front of the camera if you want. Figure it out that way. I think that'd be kind of cool to do because I have the knowledge to share, but I don't have the time to do all the video editing to share all this knowledge. But that is something that I wanted to throw out there for people to think about because, it is something to think about. Now, again, we do have the right to repair, and I am fully supportive of that right to repair kind of thing. Very important that I think you should be able to repair it. It is also very important that I think you should work within your means because, let's face it, people, if you don't do your brake job right, you can kill someone. If you don't put your tires on right, you can kill someone, yourself or someone else. You don't want that to happen. Nobody wants to get hurt. So that's where it's important. Do I think everybody should work on their vehicle? No. Hell, I've seen mechanics that shouldn't be working on vehicles. So, funny story. long time ago. Okay, so long time ago, I went and worked at this one shop. Kind of a different type of atmosphere for me to work in, but the pay was really good. They were paying hourly instead of flat rate, which is what got me to want to go there. And they ran 3 shifts at this place. So I'm hired in. I didn't have my Master Tech certification at the time when I got hired in. I was working on it, but I didn't have it yet. I was still doing some studying and stuff to take the test and things of that nature. So they had hired a person to be the Master Tech. This guy had worked at like one of those big box stores. I'm going to say Firestone because I think it actually was Firestone. And Firestone. Okay, so I'm watching this guy. He's working on an Oldsmobile Bravada the square body style kind. That's how long ago this was. He's lifting this thing up and down. He has cycled this thing on the rack, gosh, more times than I can count. Um, yeah, I finally walk over to him. I'm like, "Hey, dude, what you doing?" He's like, "I'm just doing an oil change." I was like, "Oh, okay, okay." So I walked away because obviously he didn't want to talk to me, and felt like I was bugging him. So I'm working on the vehicle I'm working on. I think I'm doing a timing build or something. And I'm pushing this thing go up and down on the lift a bunch more times. I would say he probably cycled this thing up and down the lift probably 25 times. He finally comes over to me, and big boy too. He didn't miss a meal. Not that I've missed any meals either. But the camera adds 10 pounds plus another 10 pounds plus another 30 pounds because it's on camera. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. He leans over on the car and he goes, "Dude," he goes, "where is the oil filter?" And I just look at him. I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You come from this busy big box store, which those places are busy, and generally they do more oil changes than anything." And I'm like, "And you don't know where the oil filter is on this Oldsmobile Bravada?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Lower the vehicle down." Lowers the vehicle down. I point in the fender well, and that's where the battery is. It's in a remote location next to, not battery. The oil filter is in the fender. It's a remote filter. So I can't even talk straight because I'm laughing about this in my head. That he couldn't find that thing. Like, my gosh, the basics of auto repair. Here's a person that is a master technician. He took all the ASE certifications. He was in the business for a required amount of time to get signed off to be a master tech. Now, back then, there was a lot less tests than there is today. There's a lot more tests now than there used to be. There's tests in areas. I was reading through the stuff the other day on ASE's website. Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. It's crazy. You can get ASE certifications in so many different aspects of the automotive industry, and that doesn't count all the other industries out there. But it just was so funny that this dude couldn't he couldn't figure out where the filter was so he could finish the oil change on this vehicle. I hope they weren't waiting on that. That's all I got to say about that. So again, that brings me back to being able to work on this shit. Now, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. No, I don't know everything. There's a lot I don't know. Like, I don't mess with hybrids and electric vehicles. Not that I couldn't. I mean, I could. If I had to. If I had to, for certain friends, if I had the stuff, for certain people in my life that have really helped me out over times, I would make an effort to figure it out. So, but, I know when I'm over my head. There's a lot of things I don't work on just because I don't want to. It's not that I can't, but I've been doing this for a very long time. I mean, my gosh, I've been professionally wrenching on this stuff for 35 years. It's crazy. I remember when we used to have to put the paperclip in the car to figure out what the code was. Now I use the Bluetooth dongle and I can read the codes on my watch, which is crazy how technology has changed. In some ways, it's made it easier, and in some ways, it's made it more difficult. Is this one? This is okay. I was making sure it didn't look like it was in the right spot. Got a couple things that belong on the other side, so I'll take care of that stuff later. I think those go down in the box there. So, and I got these new sockets. These things are cool shit. These are these really shorties. These are the OLSA tools. They're out of Canada. They even came on this nice aluminum rail. I have a special ratchet that fits these, and then there's one that goes in the backside to keep it from falling off. If you guys haven't seen these before or have any of these, Astro has a set of them too. They work pretty good. You might want to check them out. Tools, and again, nobody's paying me for that. It's just something I stumbled across, and I thought I'd share with you guys. because I kind of do that. I have no sponsorships. I have no companies that are gonna give me money to talk about things to you. I just do it of my own free will. Hopefully, I get more followers and more people subscribe and things like people like what I do and make some comments to kind of help me guide me along on what you want to see. Is what I'm trying to focus on. But today, the stuff on social media just kind of blew my mind, and it tied into some things I've been seeing a lot of with the politicians and voting and stuff of recent. You know, there's John Deere tractors. It's a huge problem. The farmers can't even fix them themselves. They have to go back to the dealer, I guess. There's a huge proprietary software kind of problem that's going on with them. So that's a thing, and I feel that's not right. Anything that we buy, we should be able to work on it. Now, the way they keep us from working on these things is they don't give us any parts. They make a throwaway. I mean, for all intents and purposes, from the car manufacturer side of things, when your car's out of warranty and it starts having major problems, like the shocks or struts are bad, transmission's slipping, the brakes are gone, the wheel bearings are howling, the CVT transmission ain't moving no more. They don't want you to fix it. They want you to recycle it. They want you to throw it away. Just take your $50,000 car, shit can it over there for, $50. If it's got the cats on it, you might be able to get 200. Unless they stole them from you and you got aftermarkets on there, then you ain't getting shit for that car. That's what's wrong with this industry. You don't have the parts, and that makes it really difficult for people to repair. The cost of things from repair shop to repair shop seems to be huge differences in pricing, except when it comes to the transmission industry. I've noticed that transmission repair is pretty much the same no matter who you call, and I wonder why that is. Nobody's been able to or willing to tell me why that is, but I do wonder why that is. These little tiny nano sockets, these things are the cat's ass. These are tiny. I have 2 sets of them. Check these things out, guys. You'll love these. So, like, here's these are tiny sockets. I bought these at O'Reilly's. These are 1/4 inch. Now, let's just get one of the bigger ones off here. So, this one is 15-30 seconds drive. It's got a 1/4 drive, and then it's got a hex on the back of it. The hex on the back of it fits on the ratchet like this. And if I go over to the other side, which, you know what, I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab that so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This shit's pretty cool, and I don't mind sharing it with you. At least makes reason to be here, right? So, okay, here's what I got. Okay. Like I said, this is off the cuff. I just decided to do this. There's no planning for this or anything. So here's this little 1/4 drive nano socket. These ones are chrome. And a 7/16 gear wrench, which is great to put in here. It's got this little adapter. So this helps keep it together. Look at this. It's in there. It doesn't fall off. Now, I like the gear wrenches that don't switch direction. You just have to flip them over. I've had issues with them slipping over time, but that's a personal preference of mine. But that's a cool setup. I mean, that's thin. That's thin. Let's get a tape measure. The depth overall of this whole assembly is 3/4 of an inch. Let's see what a 15-30 seconds 1/4 drive socket is. There's not one in the drawer here, so I can't actually do that for you, but I think you get the idea, right? So that's what I'm saying. You can pick those up at your local O'Reilly's. In fact, I have a pack of new ones here. They are Power Torques. They're right here. And got ASE metric. They come on their own rail. These things saved my ass a couple times. I've actually been getting into more and more of these gear wrenches and these nano type sockets because of the situation. Now I have tried, these are from the OLSA tools. I think it's OLSA tools out of Canada. I did to pay a tariff to get this, you know, but that's just how it is. I also got a cool pry bar set from them recently. But I've tried other keepers. I bought a few off of Amazon, and they're magnetic and they just don't stay on. They don't keep the socket on the ratchet very well. So keep that in mind, because you don't want to be losing a 10 millimeter. Again, I don't get the 10 millimeter thing. I really don't. I have never lost a 10 millimeter in 35 years. I've never lost a 10 millimeter. I don't know how you people lose 10 millimeter. In fact, I got so many damn 10 millimeters, it's crazy. I got a special 10 millimeter only set, and I got tons of 10 millimeters in here. I have them in other drawers. I've never had to replace my 10 millimeter because I lost it. I've had to replace 10 millimeters because I broke them, because I put something a little too big on it, and snap goes the socket. So, anyways, but those are the kind of things that I like to talk about. I know this is going to get posted to Mopar Mike because I haven't posted anything to that channel in a long time. This is kind of more of the content that you would see on Mopar Garage Bar and Emporium. But I kind of want to do like a crossover kind of thing. I had to put my tools away. I was thinking about those things today that I thought would be cool to talk about and stuff. So, maybe I'll just post this on Mopar Garage Bar and Emporium page. I don't know. I guess whatever page it shows up on, you guys will see it. And you can cross-check both pages. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do a tool one just for the other channel. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe I should look into doing that. Anyways, thank you for stopping by. Listen to me talk to you about some things. I'd like to see your opinions on some stuff. See what you guys think out there on some of these things. How do you feel about right to repair? I mean, do you think we should have the right to repair things? TVs, washing machines, all that stuff. I think that's important. I think we should be able to repair all of those things, the lawnmowers, everything. Or do you think that the cost of stuff should come down and just make it throw away and we just buy new stuff? Yeah, I mean, I'm not breaking out the soldering iron and buying resistors and stuff and fixing my TV. I'm probably not going to do that. But it doesn't mean that some of you out there are not capable of doing that, and you guys should very well have the schematics and stuff that you need so you can do that. So, and TVs were really cheap, and then they weren't. So it's one of those things that that just change over time. And cars aren't coming down at all. And I've read some posts and stuff in some places where guys pulled their ECMs apart and fixed bad solder joints and stuff like that and got their cars back on the road. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's I think the right to repair is very important. But again, I think if you're not qualified to work on your car, that doesn't mean you can't get qualified. That doesn't mean you can't learn the things that you need to know. There's a lot of good people on YouTube nowadays. It ain't like it was 10 years ago. Everybody has moved to this platform, especially after the fall automotive trend. So you have a lot of people that we would pay to watch on other platforms that are now on this platform that aren't exactly charging us. Yeah, I mean, if you're like me, you pay for the no ads. Just because those ads are the ads were ridiculous, weren't they? I mean, like 20 ads in a 15-minute thing. Come on. So I don't know. I think people should know what they're doing, and if they don't know what they're doing, they should ask for help. And I think to a certain degree, we should be willing to help them. But don't assume that everybody can do everything for free, because again, tools were something I had to pay for. They weren't given to me from the jobs that I had. They weren't maybe a gift every once in a while. I got something from my parents, but we have to buy those. You've all been to Harbor Freight. You know what this stuff costs. They have some good tools. They have some crappy tools. Do you need to have all the latest and greatest tools? No, probably not. Not if you're going to do it yourself. If you're going to be a professional, professionals will tell you that tools matter, and they will tell you why tools matter. And I think I should do a segment on tools. I really do. I'm more thinking about that. I think that'd be something good that I think a lot of people would like to listen to. I'll have to get some mechanic friends together, kind of do a collaboration kind of thing. And maybe they won't be on camera. I don't know. But I'm just jabbering at this point. So please like this video. If you could, go through the rest of my catalog and like all those videos. And please subscribe, because you'll get notified when I post another video on the channel. And if you like both of my channels, then you'll get notified whichever channel it is that I choose that I post stuff on. So at that, I appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully this was informative. I'm looking for your feedback on some of the things that we talked about here. And at that, it's Monday. I've had a pretty good day. It is not Monday. Nope, it is not Monday. All day today I've been thinking it's Monday. It's been that kind of week already. It's actually Tuesday. Happy Taco Tuesday. So at that, I definitely need to go home because I thought it was Monday all day. Oh my gosh.